Howdy, NCECA. I'm going to take part in the past masters, and it's an honor to be able to talk about my friend Victor Babu. One day I was looking through his library and I found his old high school senior yearbook from DeWitt Clinton High School, class of '54, and I saw this really nice comment. Good luck for a prosperous career in ceramics, from Ricky Franco. So apparently Victor already had a reputation by the time he was a teenager that he was going to be a ceramic whiz. So yeah, when he came to the Kansas City Art Institute, he got the nickname the Babuda. He taught here from 1968 to 2001, so a little over 30 years. When you teach that long, you have students who go on to become teachers, and they have students, and there's an example here that's one of Victor's platters or chargers in the background, and then one of his students, Ben Bates, there. And Ben is actually holding up a cup made by one of his students, Mariko Brown Harkin. So, when you're an artist slash teacher, your career lives on in your work and also in your students. Another example of one of Victor's gorgeous porcelain platters. The images were sprayed on through stencils. A beautiful ewer. I love this one. It was pretty tall too. It was almost well over a foot tall. And then you got this picture I took at Victor's retrospective. There was a 50-year retrospective at the Epstein Gallery in Overland Park, Kansas. And the two women on the left are his sisters, and the two women on the right are his nieces. And when they got there, there was about 30 of those gorgeous chargers on the wall, and then dozens and dozens of the casseroles and ewers and pots and vitrines throughout the gallery. And one of his sisters just froze at the opening of the space, and she looked around and she said, "Victor, you've been busy." This is one of my favorite platters, or again chargers when you're on that scale. And this belongs to Susie there on the right. It was given to her by Joe instead of an engagement ring. When they decided to get married, Susie told Joe she didn't want a ring. She wanted a Victor Babu charger, and he made that happen. And they're holding up some Dan Turan plates. Dan was one of many wonderful studio assistants that Victor had over the years. Another example of just how good Victor was at making and decorating. Some of his students, Stan Welch in California, Lauren Kearns is in France, Alan Winkler's here in Kansas City, Barry Bartlett's out in New York. So literally his students are coast to coast and sometimes even beyond. One of his memorable students, of course, was Akio Takamori. And Akio had a show here in Kansas City back in 2013. In the later years, Victor did not get out much. He was having a lot of health problems. But he was feeling good that day, and he went down and met Akio and walked through the show, and it was just wonderful to eavesdrop as the two of them talked about art together. The piece in the foreground there spells out Vox, V-O-X, which is Latin for voice. And if you ever met Victor, you know that his voice was pretty unique. So we're going to get a taste of that right now.
There was a nice cross, kind of mix, of information pouring into the department. The students, I think, ended up, along with the faculty, in some kind of a soup to which flavors were being added to every time, and it got richer and richer and more complex. They were artists, and they were here to find out why.
Thanks to Craftin' America for that clip. Victor, with my wife there on the left, Carrie Esser, she was one of his students and later became one of his colleagues when she took over the ceramics department at the Kansas City Art Institute. And then there's Krista Assad, who was a visiting artist that year. And then Tom Binger, who's been the departmental tech for many years and was a big help to Victor later on in his life. This was the memorial service in the summer of 2019, a couple of months after Victor left us, and everybody brought champagne, and we toasted the Babuda one last time. But of course he lives on through his students, he lives on through his artwork. This gorgeous charger is at the NCECA. That's George Timmock there on the right, who taught with Victor for 25 years or more, and we miss him every day.